Hello everyone, welcome to my channel My Tech Notes. So today's video is to help 1 to 3-year-old software developers looking for a job change and freshers who are preparing for campus or off-campus interviews. So in this video I'll be sharing a few easy essential tips that will definitely help you in clearing your interviews. So before going further, let's discuss what is the purpose of an interview. So it's a kind of discussion between an employer and an employee for a particular job. The candidate should be suitable for the job based on his or her resume. The interviewer always assess the level of confidence, way of communication, and ability to learn new things in the candidate. If that candidate is suitable for them, they'll hire it, right? So after seeing your resume, they shortlist you based on what you have mentioned in that, and after taking interview they make it sure that you are the right person for them, right? So let's get started with the tips. So first of all, let's discuss easy tips for clearing campus interviews for freshers. Okay, so first and very important tip is self-introduction. It is one of the key points to set the tone of your interview. The way you present yourself in front of the interviewer determines the rest of your interview. You should be confident in what you tell. Your way of communication should not be fancy with lots of jargons. That's not required. Okay. It should be in a clear and clean language that could be understood by the panel very easily. You can tell them during your interview, you can tell them about your hobbies, about yourself, your key programming skills, your projects you have worked on during your college semesters. Always ensure that your self introduction should be in sync with the resume you have shared with them, because they always cross check what you are saying and what you have written. Okay, both of these things should be in sync. Next is resume. So a resume is what you are telling in your introduction should be written in a clean and clear language, right? It is one of the important part of getting selected for an interview. It is a document that helps you in getting shortlisted for the interview, correct? Next tip is telling about your key programming skills and assessing your own knowledge level for those. You should have knowledge of the key programming skills that you have mentioned in your resume. You should know your level of knowledge in those skills and inform the panel about it, okay? Like if you are rating yourself in core Java as 9 out of 10, so you should be that much knowledgeable in core Java. If you know that you are average in Java, just rate yourself 5 out of 10. Don't go beyond that, okay? Otherwise your interview will be hard. You should have good hands-on experience in programming language. Next is, I hope you should know about pseudocodes also, right? Because during interview, panel can give you some problems and they can ask you to write pseudocode to resolve those problems, okay? So pseudocodes are not that tough, they are just easy, because whenever we do any programming, first of all we write pseudocode in our mind or on papers, right? You should know about system analysis and design models, what is the software development life cycles, etc. I hope this is a part of your curriculum also, but if not, but you should know about them. Apart from other basic tips, you should be aware of the programming language that you are telling that's your key skill. You should be able to solve the problems using pseudocodes and your programming skills, okay? So These are the tips for clearing a campus interview for a fresher. Okay, if you are good in all this, then you are good to go. Chances of your selection will increase. Okay, let's go further. So here are the tips for off-campus interviews for freshers. Some of the institutes do not provide this facility of campus placement. Then students have to look out for off-campus opportunities, right? Students have to submit their resume in many organizations. They get their calls. If they get shortlisted. So here are a few tips again. First and very important tip is self-introduction. As soon as you enter into the room, you will see that panel is sitting in front of them. Your introduction should be clear and crisp. Okay, you should be able to communicate them what you are trying to say about yourself. You can tell about yourself, your hobbies, your key programming skills, the projects you have done, your area of interest. Okay, what are you planning for future? Okay, but it should be in sync in your resume. Okay, resume is I told earlier that it's a document that helps you in getting shortlisted for the interview. So whatever communicate in your introduction should be mentioned in the resume also. Okay, your key programming skills, you have to know about your key programming skills. Okay, and you should also rate them, okay, based on your knowledge level on those programming skills. Next is project. Okay, you should be able to demonstrate your knowledge related to the projects that you have done during college semesters or during internships, right? You should know about the project architecture and design. What was the purpose of your project? Was it achieved or not? Which module you were working on, right? And you should have understanding of project development life cycles and what are the different models have been used in your project. Okay, so all of these questions will be asked during your interview, so you have to be knowledgeable about them. Okay, you should be able, you have to have that knowledge with you when you appear for your interview. Apart from these tips, as I already said, it will be a technical interview, so you have to be good in your key programming skill, because they can give you, if you are good in all these tips, the next step is they can give you some problems to write down. Okay, so you have to solve using your programming skill, so you have to do that in front of them. They can ask some counter question also, so you should be good in resolving them also. Okay, now next is tips for beginners or 1 to 2 year software developers. So if you are a 1 to 2 year software developer, so I don't need to tell you much about how to clear an interview, but yes, there are a few tips for your first change. So one is self-introduction. Again, for you should be good in your communication skill. Tell them about yourself, your hobbies, projects, your core tech skills and project modules you have worked on in your current organization. The interviewer should be able to understand about you, your work, your skills and your projects, right? Your resume should be in sync what you are telling them in self-introduction. Key skills. The next and very important tip for you is key skill. You might have mentioned multiple skill in your resume. Make sure that you have good knowledge and working knowledge of those skills. Okay, you should be aware of those skills, if they are back-end skill or front-end skills. Okay, you can be asked about your level of knowledge, maybe like how do you rate yourself on these skills. So rate yourself very sincerely. Don't go way too much high if you don't are not very good in those skills. Project knowledge of the project. So you should know about the project architecture that you have done in your organization. Okay, you should know about the project architecture is design, programming languages used there, and framework used. You should know about the version controlling system and how are you doing version controlling in your project. Okay, you should you can be you should be aware of different your team structure. Okay, you should be aware of your team structure if you are working in development team, testing team, or operations and maintenance team. Okay, so you should be aware of that. You should be completely aware of the module you have worked on. Okay, so if apart from all above tips, everything, interview for a software developer is always a technical interview, so you should be good in your programming skill. I'm telling it again and again. You will be given some problems to solve and you have to use your logical mind and solve those problems in front of them. Okay, these are the tips to clear interview as a software developer at fresher and beginner level. All the best. Thanks.